Alright, streaming button is up. Let's wait for the YouTube to respond. Hello, chat. We have David Slater in the chat, or at least I assume that's David Slater. Good luck, Dave. And we should be live. We are. Welcome to Spa-Francorchamps for the fourth round of Season 17 of Evolution Racing Academy Server 2 action. Thomas Wong in the chat. We are wet, and that could lead to some really interesting weird results here today. So if you're missing this race, you really shouldn't. We're here for some fun. You know the drill. We're going to give you a tour of the track by our randomly chosen volunteer car, which is basically the first guy to leave the pits. For the second race in a row, that is Pat Fortune. So Pat either really liked the fact that he was the guinea pig guy driver, or he hasn't realized how I choose them. These are the two choices. I hate Wet Spa. Hey, man, Wet Spa is great. Wet Spa is the day of days. I'm going to tell you a story here, guys. You want to know what my first win in Assetto Corsa Competizione ever was? And this is pretty rare because I do not win a lot. It was at Wet Spa. Thank you very much. It was at a Bentley Continental, the Boatley, and there was no rational reason for me to pick up a win against the competition I was up against. It was purely down to the fact that I just did not majorly mess up. Alright, into Last Source we go. This is the first turn of the circuit in this particular layout. You can see that there are two different start lines at Spa-Francorchamps, depending on what layout you're going with. That can vary. So that can make Eau Rouge and Radion, which we're coming up to right now, the first one. This is a famous turn in all of sports, all of racing. We're going to see a lot of braking today, probably through here, but normally that's about as close to flat out as you can get. Then we head down the Campbell Straight. Nothing really to say here. This is just a nice bit of scenery, full throttle straight line to end Sector 1. And then we're to break it down into Lecombe. By the way, if I'm coughing or anything like that, making any wheezing noises, I apologize, but I'm a little under the weather, and it is what it is. I'm not going to try and name these corners, because the issue is these corners have had different names over the years, and I don't honestly know, because I'm on the other side of the pond, I'm in North America, what the actual current names of these corners are. I can tell you different. It would depend on the track map I was looking at, essentially. Now this one, I could say something about. This is Pouillon. I do believe I could have that wrong. Don't shoot me. Very easy area to mess up. I never honestly remember this sector's name, so I'm not gonna even venture a guess. I'm pretty sure this is Stavlo. I'm making every, racing nerd cry right now with these probably not correct corner names. Enjoy it while it lasts. And then, of course, we have Blanchiment. High speed, double left-hander. Again, usually probably borderline flat, but today we'll probably see braking through here. And then we head into the final part of this lap, which is the bus stop chicane. You can see the pit lane entry there as well. It's always interesting when somebody is pitting, because it can lead to a little bit of dangerousness. But that is a lap of Spa-Francorchamps with Pat Fortune, and I'm not going to comment on the lap times today, because you just never know. The wet always leaves you with a complete mystery as to what's a good lap time, what's a bad lap time. We'll find out. You cannot get on the server. Well, find the password, sir. Or comment that to the admins. Second place early going to Jos van de Velde in the Van Niles Racing Ferrari, the prancing horse. We have third place D. Hines in the second of the two Lambos from the Stunt Possums, and Lucio Condi in the Converse Honda, also getting a legal lap in fourth place. Right now, we are watching the Iron Drivers, the lowest rating on this server, take to the track. But also probably the one with the most interesting championship. Bowser and Pat Fortune come into today dead even in points, each with a win, a second place, and a third place, and the same number of bonus points. So congratulations, gentlemen. You are dead even on 49 points. Nishan Jalant is in third place on 28, 24 for Dean Hines, 20 for round one winner Alfie Solomons, 20 for Nathan B. And then after that, we kind of get to the people that I don't think really play a role as far as the championship is concerned. You are an admin. Well, then you fix it. I don't understand the problem, man. Let's see, who's closest to putting up a lap here? We got Nishan Jalant on the track. Good to have him back. Or no, he was here last week. For some reason, I was thinking he wasn't here last week. He was here last week and he got his first Evolution Racing Academy podium. So, that's a pretty big deal. He's had great one-lap speed, just hasn't quite put things together. But he is the top McLaren 720S in the field. And I don't think he can win the championship at this point. This is really a two-horse race. But he could definitely play a role in deciding who the champion is. Because he's got that speed, like I said. And he can definitely go out there and do some things. He can definitely play spoiler. I'm going to be very surprised if he doesn't pick up a win before the end of the season. Well, his lap is still legal. It's not going to be a particularly good one. But he'll put himself in fifth place as the fifth person to drag the car over the line. Here comes Bowser in the Bowser-inspired BMW. Co-championship leader, Pat Fortune. He goes sixth quickest. And also coming across the line should be Stipo, my Croatian brethren. As he goes seventh quickest. Let's see, we've also got JJ Zimmerman in the Track Tool Lamborghini, the Milwaukee Tools one. A vestige of their previous association. This team is moving in the direction of DeWalt these days, but JJ's still rocking the older livery. Also have Roy Cunningham Olaire out there in the BMW, the American. Had a good round out at Suzuka last time out. Looking for more here today. And we have Matthew East out on track in the BMW for MDUK Racing. MDUK Racing. Lucio Condi has gone second quickest, but he has invalidated this lap. And I don't think he'll get another one. So his quest for pole is over. Oh, Pat Fortune's off the track somewhere. So his quest for pole, not over because he's on pole, but his quest for a better lap time than the one he that we were on board for comes to an end. Oh no, he did get a better one. He got a 2:31 flat. Let's see what Matthew can do. Actually, the next car across the line will be D. Hines. Right now, does have a notable improvement on his previous lap time, but not enough to challenge the top two. Should just be sort of trying to ensure his third place position. Coming into the bus stop chicane. Making his way to the finish line. That's quite a bit of improvement, but still third place. Next one across will be Nishan Jalan. Jalan's got a good lap going here. Not a threat to fortune, but it could be a threat further up. Fourth place. And I'm looking down the pecking order. We've got a near 2-second improvement here from Bowser. Should jump him up a little bit. Pardon me. Still sixth place. Notable improvement, but not enough. Roy Cunningham Olaire is up about 4 seconds on his lap. Konami Dyke also improving, but they're quite a ways off the pace. The bronze drivers have been deployed, so this is the last chance for the irons to get across the line. Only 11 of them here today. The only other one that is currently could potentially better his lap is JJ Zimmerman, but not quite the case. That's TV camera 2. There's TV camera 1. And of course, we'll be using the Helicam as well. I'm rocking solo today, as my usual co-commentator is... Hey! Dyke actually with a very good lap. Popping up to 6th place. Alright. We deploy the bronzes. Championship leader coming today is Marv Beck. Well, pardon me, he's 1 point back, but Beck has 2 wins to his name, and has already got a drop score in, so I think as long as he attends and does well, I think the title's his to lose. But technically he is not leading it. That belongs to Robert Volt. 1 point ahead at 38 to 37. And then there's the man with all kinds of promise, all kinds of obvious potential. Couple of fastest laps to his name, but not great results necessarily. Thomas Wong finally did get a podium at Suzuka, but his other runs this season have been a little bit rough, and that means he is sitting 10 points back of the championship. He is dead even in points with Isaac Jordan, who is rocking the Ram Mercedes this season. Jordan has the loses on count back, though, as he does not have a podium, and Wong does. David Slater is on 26 points. He is next up in the pecking order for the Track Tool DeWalt car. The McLaren 720S, rocking 26 points to his name. Then it's Dick Post on 24 points for the Van Nel Racing crew. Andres Hansen is next, but I'm not seeing him on server today. So it looks like he will be missing the Spa-Francorchamps round, and that is a grand shame. Breakout star from Suzuka was Idris Cahill. I'm also not seeing him, so that's unfortunate. He had 0 points coming to Suzuka, left with a 2nd place. Now on 16. Steve Tetley is also on 16. And has a livery that he wanted to show off to me, but he is not in the server. Steve. You got some explaining to do. Then it's Adrian Marood on 14 points. Is he? There he is. He is here today. The Nubs Racing Ferrari. The great 296. Then it is 12 points for Chris Stancer. Missed Suzuka, but he is here today. Rocking his Ferrari 296. Brian Mongrand finally got a result in Suzuka. He's on 10 points. Picking up a 5th place performance. He had been very, very quick on a single lap at Silverstone and Watkins Glen and came away with 0 points, which is some heartache for him. After him, it's Rose Jardine, who is absent today, it would appear. As well as Kishore Kumar, Senti Kumar, who is absent today. Mickey Taylor is next in the pecking order on a single point, as well as Hobart Rallywell, who is here today. In the Emile Frey Racing Verstappen-esque Red Bull car for the Ferrari 296, as he goes 2nd quickest. Nice. So it's Bex, then Mongrand, then Rallywell at the top right now. Then it's the Iron Pole sitter Pat Fortune, and Adrian Marood in 5th place. So that does give Pat Fortune the championship lead, 50 to 49 over Bowser. If Bex retains pole, he would move even with Robert Volt in the bronze category. Not really a car that demands being paid attention to right this second. So we'll stick with Adrian for a little bit. until events kind of give us a push in another direction. Probably to Thomas Wong, who's currently on a legal lap, but has about a minute to go. Minute and a half, actually. Always got to remember that Spa-Francorchamps is one of the longest laps on any calendar. And as a result, your concept of time needs a little bit of work. We'll hop with him, though. Rocking the Gulf Oil livery, my co-commentator Byron is a big fan. Garage 59, the classic McLaren factory team. It was so weird that one year that Garage 59 went to the Aston Martin cause. And it just never felt right. Never felt right at all. This team has been the factory McLaren team dating back to like the 12C, the MP12C days. And then suddenly during the admittedly during the late 650S days, they kind of broke with the team because the 720S was a little bit late for it, but kind of had that gap here with Aston Martin. Now back home with Daddy McLaren. For a while there, the 720S was overpowered as all heck. It does seem to not really quite be the case anymore. Wong going 7th quickest. And quickly drops down to 8th as Dick Post takes pole position. Next one of interest is Isaac Jordan. He's about a second up on his lap time right now. Currently in 9th place. This would move him up to about 6th. Maybe even 5th. He's got a shot at Pat Fortune. I don't think he's got a shot at the top 4. Well, no, he could get Rally well. I don't think he has a shot at Post, Bex, or Mongron, but he could be as high as 4th here. Not a good run through the bus stop, though. Lost some time there. Lost 2 to 3 tenths there. So he'll be only good enough for 6th place. We hop on with championship leader Robert Volt. Does not have a lap time yet. This lap is, as it stands, legal. So we'll see what he can do. The Porsche is simultaneously one of the best cars in the wet, in my experience. But it also can be the worst, because when you do mess up, it is a big moment. So it's oh, that's illegal. That's illegal. That's no good. And right now we might have a new pole sitter. Mar Bex is currently about a half second up. And that would put him about a 10th above Dick Post. And we'll put the Aston Martin on the pole position. Is that legal? That is legal. Just legal. Heads into the bus stop chicane. That's a really good run through the bus stop. Either that or the marker was bad. And that'll easily be pole position for Mar Bex. Germany to the front. Got Hobart Rallywell. Currently is improving on his time a little bit here through the bus stop. Not going to move him up from 4th place, but will ensure that position a little bit. He will need it. Isaac Jordan, keep in mind, had a bad run last time we were with him through the bus stop chicane. So if he can ace the bus stop, he's got a good lap here. He's currently 4 tenths up. And I would say that there are 3 tenths in the bus stop alone, which could put him up into 4th place. We'll see what he can do here. Into the bus stop we go. And he comes out 1.1 up. A little slow on the exit, but still, this should be 8/10 improvement. And that will be good enough for 4th place for the Scot. Let's see, do we have a bronze to follow? We'll go with Robert Volt, the championship leader. Still trying to get a clean lap. Last time we saw him invalidated through Blanchiment. We'll see if that happens again. But this is his last chance. Now, Robert has made a historical habit of making his way through the grid with people not in play or without like necessarily the pace to pull things off. So this would not be a new factor for him. That is where he invalidated last time. Does not do it this time. I will say I don't have a gap. I don't have a gap to mind here, but this doesn't feel like a great lap. But you want to get away from the back. You want to find what you can. And it's good enough for 15th place. That's it's a little bit better. All right, let's talk about the Silver Championship here real quick as Marbek snags a pole position for the Bronze contingent. So for, excuse me again, for Silver, Championship leader Tristan Akaloan here today. Full house at both Silverstone and Watkins Glen. 3rd place at Suzuka. He has a dominant championship field. 2nd place belongs to the other Mustang of James Wheel, but I do not see James Wheel here today. Oh, nope, there he is. There he is. There is the challenger, the man who won at Suzuka. Finally managed to beat Akaloan. 3rd place belongs to Sean Young in the Ferrari, the top non-Mustang in the field. Number 23 car for Cyber Racing, 29 points to his name. El Perry in the Nissan is in 4th place. He's on 28 points for the Stealth Bomber. The wet should play to the Nissan's advantages. I do really, really, really like the feel of the Nissan in the wet. Comparatively speaking. One of my favorite cars in the wet. Richard Oakes, who bears mentioning because the wet weather is his thing. This is where he shines. He sits 5th in the championship on 24 points. Took a podium at Silverstone, 5th place at Watkins Glen, missed Suzuka. But he's out there today and has to be a bettor's favorite. After him in the championship, it's Bearded X Badass, who appears to be absent today. He's on 20 points. Then it's Sven van de Velde, who had a great start to the season, 2nd place at Silverstone, but has picked up no points since. The NSX has proved to be a difficult car to make behave. And as you can see, a little caster's curse at play there. After him in the championship, it is Max Cruz, whom I do not see here today. So we may be missing him. Then it's Garrett Viviers. I don't see him, so we may be missing him as well. After that, it's Matt Gale. I do see Matt Gale. Normally a guy who you would think be a championship favorite, honestly, but 2 7ths and a 9th to his name only this season. He's on 14 points. Having a rough time. After him, it's Ron Morley, formerly known as the Purple People Eater, now known as the Pastel Punisher. He is rocking 10 points to his name. Blake Moore made his Server 2 debut last time out. Has a new livery today. And he is on 6 points, having finished 7th at Suzuka. We'll see what he can do here today. After him, it's Dennis Hook. I don't see Dennis here today. I do not see Thomas Boris, Nathan Gray, Casey Jones, or Kerry Pattenden. So, that is the Silvers today. Let's see where Blake Moore puts the car for the time being. 12th place. Couple of guys out there. Oh, sorry. Second lap. Leading the charge is Matt Gale. 5th place at the moment. Currently up about 3/10. Not bad. Looking solid. Also, Richard Oakes out there is currently putting together a good one. As is Sean Young. Looking very scary out there right now. Ron Morley also on an improvement lap. Gale, like we said, L. Perry, James Wheel. All the silvers picking up the pace right now. But no one more so than Sean Young. Does anybody have a pole challenging lap? The best bet for the pole challenging is probably James Wheel. He's about 1 second up right now, and he's about 1 second off pole, so this will be close if he keeps it going. I don't think anyone else quite has, at least at this moment, the challenge in them. Sven van de Velde is about to put in a banker. We saw him off the track earlier. Has kept it on this time. Moving through the bus stop chicane as I continue to die slowly. No idea how this lap's looking. Ah, pretty good. Third place. Third place. Bringing it home. James Wheel has lost a little bit of time. This will still be a notable improvement up to 5th place. And Ron Morley is currently up about 1.1 seconds. This should move him into the top 10. Oh, not quite. 12th place. Not a great exit from the bus stop. Perry's got an improvement going right now. So does Tristan Akaloan. So does Blake Moore, Sean Young. Nothing that should threaten pole as it stands, though. We got time. Oh, Sean Young almost hitting into the wall there. Yeah, he's going to abandon that lap. Probably does not have the time to get around for a fast one. L. Perry in the Stealth Bomber. He's got a threat here. He's 5/10 off. And he's 4/10 up right now. So if he can get a good run through this third sector, he's got a shot. And I know at least one part of our audience would love to see the Nissan GTR on the pole position, and I would too. I'm a sucker for cars that are not traditionally favored by the BOP, that you don't see a tremendous amount of. And the Nissan would definitely qualify as one of those spots. He's up 5. He's got it right now. As it stands, this would be pole. But he's still got to get through this third sector. L. Perry's been a consistent force near the front of the pack all season. Pair of 6s and a 4th place to his name. I wouldn't call him a championship threat, but he's a guy who's going to play a role, I think. He's got it, as we say. To the line. Is this first place? It is. L. Perry to the front. Still out there is Akalo. Oh, never mind. Caster's Christmas. That's going to be pole. The only person on a legal lap right now is Blake Moore, and it's not an impressive one. Might be a... No. Not a great exit from the bus stop. Not even going to be an improvement on his time. So, L. Perry will start on pole. Congratulations to the Nissan. All right. You know how we do. We're going to do the grid walk. Once things get going, until then I'm just kind of just killing time. We will have a bronze starting in the front row in the form of Marbex, though. That's very cool. The Aston Martin is a solid wet weather car, so I do very much anticipate good stuff from it here today. Have a look at the Helicam. Oh, we got a decent little thing here. Okay. So El Perry will start this race on pole position, followed by Mar Bex. Third place will belong to Matt Gale. Fourth place to Sven van der Velde. Row 3 will be Dick Post and the Mustang of James Wheel. Tristan Akaloan starting back in 7th place. Unfamiliar territory with him, along with wet weather specialist Richard Oakes there, row 4. Sean Young on row 5, along with Brian Mongron. Then it's Blake Moore and Isaac Jordan on row 6. Row 7, Ron Morley in the Pastel Punisher, joined by Hobart Rallywell, who had a really, really rough time at Watkins Glen, was notably better at Suzuka, and looking for better here today. He scored his first point. He would love to get more. Pat Fortune is your iron pole sitter. He'll start P15 for the Stunt Possible Lamborghini crew. Then it is Adrian Marood from 16th place, followed by Lucio Condi in the Converse Honda, and the Gulf Oil sponsor McLaren Thomas Wong on row 9. Row 10, D. Hines in the second Stunt Possible Lamborghini. Nissan Chalant in the McLaren 720S. Then it is Jos van de Velde and Kanami Dyke on row 11. Row 12, Bo Zur, tied for the championship lead, but well down the pecking order. Robert Volt will join him. Actually, that's championship leader role. Robert Volt is the leader in the bronze category. Coming in today, their share row 12. Row 13 will be Chris Dancer and Matthew East, longtime members of the grid. Stipo and JJ Zimmerman on row 18. Roy Cunningham O'Lear and David Slater, who did not get a lap time in qualifying, nor did his track tool teammate Nathan B. They will start at the back of the pack. So we'll wait for things to kick off here. Try making some notes of where people are starting here today, because anything that helps me give you like more advanced metrics, I suppose, in a nutshell, during the race as far as tracking the championship, and I would love to provide that, making it as solid as I can. Sven van der Velde, 4th place. Max Cruz is not here today. Garrett Viviers is not here today. Matt Gale will start from P3. Ron Morley starting from P13. Blake Moore, P11. Dennis Hook. Thomas Boris, Nathan Gray. Everybody else not here today. Helps me out. It's a relatively limited silver pack. Excuse me. Am slightly dying. Robert Volt starts 24th. Mar Bex 20th or 2nd. Thomas Wong, where are you located? Where are you, Thomas? There you are. You're 18th. 12th place for Isaac Jordan. David Slater didn't get a lap time in. He'll start P30. Looks like Nathan B is going to elect to start from the pit lane. Can't say I especially judge him for that. There is some logic about starting in the pit lane and just avoiding the chaos, potentially. But we'll see. We'll see if it works out. Sometimes being in the middle of the chaos is sometimes being ahead of the chaos is the best bet. But he would not have been anyways. He would have been starting dead last anyways. So I guess if you're starting dead last, why not start from the pit lane is a reasonably solid way of looking at things. Outside of our usual Zilla cheering section, what do we have in the chat? Who's hoping for big things for whom? And if you don't want to say, that's fine. Then you can jump on the bandwagon later. Looks like Matthew East is also going to start from the pit lane. So, couple of changes before the race. Promotes David Slater up a couple of spots. Where was Alfie Solomons? Was he not here today? No Alfie Solomons today. That's disappointing. Disappointing! No Lou Wes today. No Lucas Schubert today. Matthew East will... I believe I said he was starting for the pit lane. Jos van de Velde, 21st place. Lucio Condi, 17th place. JJ Zimmerman, 27th. Roy Kenningham Olaire, 28th. Michael Hazenbrook, not here today. Hugo Griffin, Beefy McBeefcake, also not here. So I'm missing a couple of people. Steepo, 26th. Strobel not here. Warner Jacobs just... none of these guys are here today. And Konami Dyke. Okay. Here we go. Enough, oh, we got good luck offers. Penalty-wise, Mar Bex on 5 seconds, along with Sean Young, and a 10-second penalty for James Wheel to be served at their pit stops. That is their successed ballast. Kicking into play. They were the big boys over at Suzuka. Going to be interested to see how those Mustangs handle actually starting from in the field. They've been enjoying a qualifying edge basically all season long. This is about the first time I think we've seen them towards the back. Not even towards the back, but not on the front row. Dying. All right. Should get a green flag shortly. The green flag here is always a bit weird because it usually comes out in the middle of La Source as opposed to on a straightaway. Come on. Give me the goods. Give me the goods. Send us down to Eau Rouge in anger. Third car starting for the pit lane. That's Isaac Jordan. So 3 pit lane starters, and we are off. El Perry leads the way. Matt Gale following him through. Marbeck slipping down to 3rd place. Very off track at Eau Rouge. Lots of yellow flags out. Konami Dyke. Bozer. Basically a lot of the back of the field getting caught up around the Eau Rouge area. But El Perry is out front, and he is leading for the Nissan fandom. 2nd place belonging to Matt Gale. Marv Becks, Dick Post, Tristan Akaloan, your top 5. So Akaloan getting through the start, not at the front, just fine. James Wheel is in 6th, followed by Sven van de Velde. Pardon me, Richard Oakes slipping up his spot. And actually Akaloan making a move as well. Getting past Marv Becks. That's good enough for 4th place. Actually, Becks also lost out to Dick Post, so I think what has happened is that Becks has gone off the track and has lost out to Post and the Mustangs. So he's tripping back and now battling with the rust bucket of Richard Oakes. That'll be tough. Dick Post up into third place. So it's Perry, Gale, Post, Akaloan, Wheel. Then it's Van de Velde. Pardon me, then it's Oaks, Van de Velde. Brian Mongron in the top 10, running in 9th place in the Jensen rocket car. And Hobart Rallywell rounding off the top 10. So Rallywell had a good start. Sean Young, Adrian Marood, Blake Moore, Ron Morley, Thomas Wong, Lucio Condi, Top Iron, D. Hines, Konami Dyke, Robert Volt, and Bozer, your top 20. So the champions are coming through okay. Bozer and Robert Volt. Rallywell getting a little out of shape there as he battles with Mongron. In the background, you can see Sean Young. Longtime member of the grid. Former Iron Champion. I don't think he ever got the pleasure of lifting the bronze title before getting the promotion to silver. But, them is the breaks. Robert Volt looking to make a move on Konami Dyke. Around the outside of La Source. That'll be interesting. It's not undoable, though. And in fact, instead of attacking Dyke, he might actually have a problem with Bozer. The BMW briefly getting along the inside of him. Ron Morley going very slowly. We'll get a quick replay and see if we can see what happened to him. Yeah, it just comes out of La Source going real slow. Don't know what happened there. But that's going to compromise him all the way to the run up to the Camel Straight. Drops him back in the order a couple spots. Side by side with Konami Dyke. Through Lake Holm. A little bit of bashing, but expected through that part of the circuit. Robert Volt, Bozer in the background, along with... Not sure who that third car is. Oh, that's JJ Zimmerman. Who's having a very solid run here in the early going. Matt Gale continues chase. A couple of cars off. Chris Stancer off, as well as JJ Zimmerman and Roy Cunningham O'Lear. Bozer was also caught up in that. His back end looks a little bit roughed up. Nishan Jalan is into the pits early on. Matthew East having a spin. A lot of action heading on out there right now. Pick up Isaac Jordan, who started from the pit lane. He'll need a good early section here. He'll need to get through traffic nicely. On the tail of the damaged car of Bozer. Jordan's had a solid enough season. Currently sits in 4th place in the championship on 40 points. Pardon me. That's adding 12 points. The answer is actually 28 points. My apologies. Currently the back of the bronze at the moment. Matthew East having another yellow flag out. There will be a number of cars who are going to want to carry light damage throughout this race. Not wanting to necessarily, but not pitting for the light damage. And that's why I suspect you'll see Bozer continue to run out there today. Even though his rear end, particularly around the diffuser, does appear to have suffered some damage. Robert Volt looking to make a move on Konami Dyke. These two have been going at it for a while. Dyke out there holding off the championship bronze leader quite effectively. Down the Kemmel Straight, heading towards Lake Holm. Can he make the move? The answer will be no this time. Dyke is going to hang on. Jos van de Velde looking to do much the same to Roy Cunningham O'Lear. And he'll go up the inside. Better positioning. Carrying a little bit of front end damage, but nothing too bad. Also a move by Blake Moore on Lucio Condi happening as well. Picking up Volt versus Dyke once again. There is one mandatory pit stop here today. Anything else is optional. Side by side again, but Dyke's got the position here. Volt is getting, I think, a little impatient with Dyke. Gives him a little bit of a hip check there. I'm not sure how the stewards will look at that one. That could depend on the wording of side by side action in the rule book. Series is going to have a little bit of a different flow about it. Pat Fortune there, the Iron Championship leader, is mixing it up with them as well. And the Stunt Possum Lamborghini. So this is a very important battle. Dyke is mixing it up here with two championship leaders. I suppose Volt has technically lost his lead to Marv Bex. Pat Fortune goes for it into the bus stop, but I think that's going to still stick with Volt in P19. Also, to be clear, I think getting past Volt is not the issue. Both of them need to clear Dyke. And if I were them, I would probably have a little bit of a gentleman's agreement on the matter. Volt is not in the same class as Fortune. Fortune's not in the same class as Volt. They're in separate championship battles. And they have a common enemy right now. And that is Konami Dyke. Sean Young putting the pressure on Hobart Rallywell. Battle for 10th place. Rallywell doing real well today. Currently running 4th in the bronze category. This is a guy who's brought 1 point into action today and could leave with several X times more. Which, by the way, is why I really do think you should show up to these races. Volt and Fortune have gotten through on Dyke. And it looks like Dyke just kind of gave them the spot on the camel. Maybe side-by-side action with Volt made him a little scared through Eau Rouge. But it looks like he just kind of gave that up to them eventually. Need to get the Stunt Possum boys to make me a livery at some point. Their liveries have been very on point. Honestly, there's a couple of different sources here. Ooh, Rallywell. No! Hobart Rallywell. I was saying nice things about him. But he spins out of 10th place. Heads up action from Sven van de Velde. Young might have gotten in the back of him because Young's lost a couple spots. It didn't look like it from what we saw. That looked like a self-imposed spin. But Sean Young has also lost out to Van de Velde, Marood, Wong, and Blake Moore. So, I don't know. Maybe that was a little bit more foul than we thought. Back to Isaac Jordan, pit lane starter, who's making his way through. He's up on the tail of Jos van de Velde. And, oh, by the way, David Slater, who he lost early in the race to a disconnect, has returned. But he is a couple laps down. Granted, super long day here at Spa-Francorchamps. A lot of chances to make up ground. And, oh, that is not good. Isaac Jordan getting collected by Jos van de Velde. That is the risk he runs starting for the pit lane. Sven van de Velde, it looks like he just got a little out of shape through Eau Rouge. Not a proper yellow flag, as it were. Check in with the leader. L. Perry still leads the way. Second place for Matt Gale. Third place for Tristan Akaloan. Rounding off the top 5 for silver, it is James Wheel and Richard Oakes. In the bronze category, it is Dick Post leading from Marv Bex, Brian Mongrand, Adrian Marood, and Thomas Wong. And in the iron category, it is D. Hines at the front, followed by Lucio Condi, Pat Fortune, Konami Dyke, and Steepo. Robert Volt. Ending up off track here through Lake Hope. And that's probably the last thing he wants to see is he gets overtaken by Konami Dike. He had all the problem in the world with Konami Dike before. And, well, it's time to get back in it. James Wheel and Dick Post going side by side. Wheel with the overtake. Post with a little tap in the butt. Marv Beck's also in the mix here in the Aston Martin. But for the time being, it will be Post ahead of Wheel and Beck's. This Van Nel Racing team has been making a name for itself this season. Not all of it good. There has been some problems. There has been some contacts. There has been some rough housing. But the Dutch outfit is doing a strong job. Tristan Akaloen leading the championship. Sven van der Velde has been on the podium. Dick Post is having a solid year. They were the dominant force at Silverstone. It's been less the case at Watkins Glen and Suzuka. But they have still been very solid. Yellow flag out for Lucio Condi. Looks like he's okay. Just rejoining after an off. Losing a spot to Ron Morley. And defending against Hobart Rallywell. Yellow flag out for Stipo. Just moving kind of slowly. Looks like he's battling for position with Bozer. Just kind of goes wide there. You can see Jos van der Velde and the lapped car of David Slater coming through. Robert Volt, Konami Dike back at it. Side by side, Chris Stancer getting a front row seat to this battle. Can he make the move? Goes to the outside. And it is covered up by Dike. Dike doing a good job of defending. Spirited, but not... I haven't seen him do anything untowards yet. Just has to be frustrating for Robert Volt because, well, he's in a championship battle and Dike's not in that battle. Oop. Sideways car of Lucio Condi on the track. See how that came about. Well, Lucio, no one to blame but yourself on that one. Hobart Rallywell, Nishan Jalan, and I believe that was Pat Fortune getting through. D. Hines and Ron Morley going at it. We know D tends to give way to the silvers without too much argument. And given that he's in the lead right now of the bronze race, the iron race, pardon me, I imagine he's more than happy to be a good traffic member. A well-behaved chicane. As we have reached 1/4 distance. Robert Volt and Konami Dike going side by side again. Dangerous spot. Little contact, a little more contact. Volt is not going to be happy as he ends up... I can't really blame Dike, though. Going side by side through that high-speed area is... there's a great chance of contact. Nathan B. and J.J. Zimmerman having a very similar bit of contact. Track Tool versus SK Telecom. And Volt has finally got it pointed back in the right direction. Thomas Wong and Sean Young having a little battle. 12th place. And a big yellow flag section is... Oh, that is Bozer. What has happened? This is Eau Rouge. It's Isaac Jordan up ahead, as well as Chris Stancer and Lucio Condi. Condi checked up a little bit, and it caused Bozer to get into the back of Isaac Jordan. It's not a unusual bit of contact. Robert Volt making his way into the pit lane with a car that appears to be crabbing quite badly. Look at those wheels. Good Lord. Look at that steering wheel. Robert Volt having a miserable day. Came into today with a 1-point championship lead over Marv Beck. And this pit stop will cost him dearly. Huge fight here between Matt Gale, as well as Marv Beck's James Wheel, Richard Oakes. Bus stop chicane. Gale into the pit lane. He says, I don't want to deal with this. Even Brian Mongron and Sven van de Velde on the back end of this. Interesting battle for third. Lowen is taking over second. I don't know what happened there. It looked like Gale was for sure going to be the guy, but maybe that is what has triggered the pit stop. Beck's at the front wheel. There's Robert Volt moving again. Good to see. Good to see the stick-to-itiveness for a car that's very banged up. Yellow flag out for Cunningham O'Leary. Must have just been for an off. There's Robert Volt. And there's Matt Gale. El Perry still leads. Lowen in second. And then it is Bex leading the train for third. With James Wheel, Richard Oakes, Dick Post, Brian Mongron, and Sven van de Velde on his tail. Fastest lap to El Perry by some margin, by the way. Little Porsche on Porsche violence. Van Nell's Dick Post against the rust bucket of Richard Oakes for 5th place. And top Porsche honors here in the wet. Little mistake there by Post. Ends up under pressure from Mongron, who's in a Van Nell sandwich. Sven van de Velde behind him and Dick Post up ahead. Shout out to Server 1's Van Nell boy, Ricky Beckelar, who's having an excellent season. Isaac Jordan off the track. What has happened to the 404 car? Looks like he just slid off the track. Slowly rolling towards the track here. Well, maybe a hardware failure. As he is stopped on track, Brian Mongron and Sven van de Velde getting into it. Let's see if we can get a quick replay of that. Action in the bus stop. Oh, so Mongron overshot it. And that's a bad rejoin. That'll be on the Canadian. James Wheel looking for action here into Les Combes. Would love to get up onto the podium. Mind you, it would still be the same position for him. Bex is a bronze driver. Wheel is a silver. Bex looking for his 3rd consecutive bronze victory here today. Be the first one from pole. Whoa! Byron is going to be sorry he missed out on that power slide. But Richard Oakes says thank you very much and bops his way up into 4th place. Oakes has been a legend here in the wet. He is a danger man. And I don't think that can be understated. Bozer on the tail of Matthew East for 23rd place. Both of these guys have had a little bit of trouble today. This is a long pit lane, by the way. Real long. Up ahead of them, that is Roy Cunningham O'Lear. By the way, Roy Cunningham O'Lear, RCO, you're gonna look up a pro wrestler named PCO, and that's gonna be your gimmick. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. They just are what they are. Pierre Car Ouellette. Alright, Wheel trying to come back at Richard Oakes after his power slide mistake. Still on their tail is Dick Post. And the 2 Hondas have been dropped a bit backwards after their contact. Blake Moore up to 7th place. And Adrian Marood and Thomas Wong are now into the top 10. Bozer has cleared Matthew East. And J.J. Zimmerman has had a moment. Let's see what happened to the track tool car. Running on his own, so it will definitively be a self-inflicted error. Yeah, a little too much curb. But car looks okay, though. We'll see worse cars than that. Ron Morley in the pits. In the Pastel Punisher. Bozer continuing to move through the field of guys that he generally gets to show his taillights to. Overtaking Roy Cunningham O'Lear for 22nd place. Shout out to David Slater. He is still out there on track. It does look like we have lost Robert Volt, though. Could be that his car was not actually fixable, being honest. And I can't imagine driving a car crabbing like that, so I obviously reserve judgment. If the car was unfixable, the car was unfixable. I think otherwise he should have tried to soldier through it, but never know. Everyone's got their thresholds. Sven van de Velde and Hobart Rallywell running together. Chris Stancer having a bit of an off. Oh boy, what happened to Chris? So Dave Slater's trying to make his way through. This is Lake Holm. I don't think Slater's going to be involved. Nope. It's just a mistake by Stancer. And Matthew East going off in sympathy. J.J. Zimmerman down into the pit lane. Bit of a forced pit stop there. Out front is still L. Perry, lead the way from Tristan Ocalone in the Mustang. Marv Bex, 3rd place, followed by Richard Oakes. James Wheel. Dick Post, Blake Moore, Brian Mongron, Adrian Marood, and Thomas Wong, your top 10. It's still in the lead of the irons. D. Hines, 13th overall for the Stunt Possum crew. Stunt Possum's looking to take back-to-back wins here today. After Pat Fortune's win at Suzuka. Almost was a double win because Idris Cahill lost the lead in the Bronze Championship to Marv Bex. Very, very late in that Suzuka race. So it could have been Fortune and Cahill bringing home trophies. Cahill still ended up on the podium, so definitely was a highlight of the season for the Stunt Possums. Whose numbers are thin this season with the loss of Bram Cox and I don't know what to term it other than Rage Quit, I'm sorry, of Casey Jones. I want to be clear, I understand Casey's frustration. I get it. It's just not something I would do. As Sven van de Velde finds his way around D. Hines there. Pit stops for Blake Moore. Kyalami Dykes in. Matthew East, not surprising given he hit the wall. And Chris Stancer is still dragging it around out there. I would get that car to the pits ASAP. That front end will need some duct tape. Get the gaffer tape out, boys. I'm coming in. The Nissan continues to purr. The 988 Stealth Bomber, currently in 4th place in the championship, running out in the front right now. Not really any spicy battles going on right now. A couple of pit stops being resolved. Saw a yellow flag for J.J. Zimmerman, but I think it was just him rejoining from the pits. Closest battle is Bowser as he hunts down Stipo. And well, actually, that became an overtake as soon as I got to it. Bowser overtaking Stipo. Next on his list will be Jos van de Velde, the champion, currently running in 5th place amongst the Irons. Championship rival Pat Fortune's in 2nd, and D. Hines being the leader means Fortune does have a teammate to put in play. Lucio Condi and Jos van de Velde 3rd and 4th. And it's Stipo in 6th, Cunningham O'Lear 7th, Nathan B 8th, 9th for Kyalami Dyke, and 10th for Nishan Jalan. Despite a very early pit stop that probably was not planned. Thomas Wong on the tail of Adrian Marood. This is for 4th place in class. Wong, I've been saying it has been him my pick to win this bronze championship, although my hopes and dreams on that are largely being dashed race by race as Marv Bex shows up and just absolutely puts on a world-class, example here. Stipo in the pits. Nathan B in the pits. We're approaching halfway distance here. This race is honestly kind of flown by. Am I the only one that feels like that? I'm sure the guys in the cars don't. Here's the 2 stunt possums running 13th and 14th. 1st and 2nd in category. The Irish boys. Be a big day for the stunt possums to pick up a 1-2. They've had a good season, actually, when D. Hines missed Silverstone, but Fortune's been on the podium all 3 races. And Hines, when he's been here, has picked up a pair of 4ths. So this team, which kind of gets a limited amount of credit in terms of the driving talent that they have to bring to the table, is definitely putting it together. And the Lamborghini is not a particularly BOP favored car. A couple of big pit stops here. El Perry in from the lead. Richard Oakes in, as well as James Wheel. All 3 of them looking to get this pit stop out of the way and get back out on track. D. Hines giving up the spot to Pat Fortune. Rally well off. What happened there? The 2 Lambos both heading into the pits. Just gets out of shape, and then for the 2nd time today, Sven van de Velde gets collected by a rejoining car in the bus stop. He has to be furious. I would be. But Sven's also had some rambunctious driving of his own. So, word of advice from the pie up in the booth. Collect yourself. Take a moment. Scream into the ether if you must. And get about doing the job. Because there's a lot of points on offer here today. little bit of an off there from race leader Tristan Akaloan, but he is okay. We'll see how he fares against El Perry. It's going to be a long pit stop here. We'll see how it goes. Perry has rejoined the race. Coming out of the pits as we speak. 10th place. The pit length here is, let's have a look. Total time pit is about 1:45. As it stands, when Akaloan comes into the pits, he'll be well behind Perry. So, not really a big concern. But, oh no! Drive-through penalty for Perry. I now have questions. That may have scuppered things. Entirely for the Nissan. That is not good. Hines and Fortune exit the pits. So in the same order they came in. Rallywell a bit behind. Probably had some damage to fix up. Rallywell had been in a couple of rally-worthy contacts, put it that way. Akaloan is in the pit lane, as well as Dick Post. So the big question for Akaloan is not so much where El Perry is, but probably will be more related to where Richard Oakes, the second highest pitted car, is, as well as James Wheel. Those are, I think, the guys he's battling with here today. Perry's drive-through may have taken him out of the conversation. Marbex will take the lead as a result. But he is yet to pit. DT for speeding the pit lane, yeah. Isn't the penalty for speeding the pit lane stop go 30? Am I wrong on that? Drive-through usually is for a track cut. Bozer. No, just him hitting the pit lane. I was just tracking a yellow flag, but the yellow flag is just for him heading into the pits off of the bus stop. Lucio Condi, by the way, getting to run in second place right now in the Converse racing car. Having a good day. It's not second place. Good. But he is having a day. Depends on the pit speed you have the pits. Right. It varies. There must be a server setting, because the endurance races I do, Lord Robs, it's always stop-go. Like, you don't ever get a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane in the races I do. So there must be a server configuration. Yes. Oh, Pat Fortune off. Careful. This looks like it's just going to be, yep. Little too much lateral shift. And that's a big mistake from a guy who is poised to take the championship lead. Stop go 30 for Hobart Rallywell. That'll be a proper speeding in the pit lane penalty. Yellow flag out for Jos van de Velde, but it doesn't seem like anything's happening. So El Perry has been set back a long way. He's now behind Jos van de Velde, or Sven van de Velde, pardon me, and Brian Mongron and Sean Young. Ugh. It's not good at all. So Akaloan has come out in effective lead of the race, putting the pressure on Roy Cunningham O'Lair. By the way, I want to quickly shout out the guys who are still out there. Normally, being the last to pit stop is not necessarily like a big deal or a big achievement, but like if we run through the cars. That's Condi, except for Jos van de Velde. They're intact. So they have not pitted because they've not picked up any like significant damage, which is at Spa-Francorchamps with 31 cars in the wet. That's damn impressive. So, Roy, Marv, and Lucio. Round of applause, boys. You made it to 25 plus minutes. And even Jos van de Velde, who has, a little bit of damage. Just try to pick him up. Even he's not too bad. Beck's coming up to one of the stunt possums. Or they've been quite here. No, they've not been in. They've not been in, Lord Robs. They've all been out there since the start of the race, and they're, like I said, they're intact. I'm not going to say they haven't made a mistake. Haven't been watching them closely enough to, know that. We've seen Jos van de Velde off. But, to be honest, I haven't seen Marv Beck's off, and I haven't seen Roy Cunningham-Olaire off. So... And we did see Condi off, but they were relatively minor things. So, let them have their moment. Let them enjoy. Blake Moore on the tail of Thomas Wong. By the way, both of these guys have come off the pit stops real well. They're up there fighting for what is effectively going to be it is going to be sixth place. I'm pretty sure Marv Beck's is going to come out ahead of them. So the only pit stopper ahead of them. Lord Robs, I'm telling you, they haven't been in the pits. I'm very good at tracking who's pitted. My data-driven OCD brain requires me to know. Also, the spectator tool does have a pit stop count, even if you haven't done a mandatory pit stop. So, if I slide us over to race statistics here, Bex does have a pit count of 0. And the only person with multiple pit stops are L. Perry, Nathan B., Hobart Rallywell, and Matthew East are the boys who have been in for pit stops that did not count as mandatories. 2 of those for penalties. I don't know what Matthew East's deal with 3 pit stops has been, but I assume he's been in the wars. As Blake Moore picks up a spot over Thomas Wong. And into the bus stop they go. That's going to be easily retained by Moore. Not sure what Wong was thinking with that line selection. It's interesting. So, a pit stop here is about 1:45. Bex is only 1:47 ahead of these guys. So Dick Post, James Wheel, Blake Moore, even Thomas Wong are a threat to him. I think for sure he's going to come out behind Ockelone and Oaks. Just doesn't have the gap. But the rest of this, the guys from 4th down to 7th, they're in his pit window. And he's got a 5-second penalty too. So I think for sure they're going to beat him out. He's going to be about 150 at least in the pits. And that might actually put Ron Morley in play. So, this is a big moment for Marv Bex. We're going to find out where he fits. What kind of race does he have ahead of him? Could be battling with Mongrand. Could be even with Van de Velde or El Perry. I don't think Sean Young has a shot. We'll see. Sean Young might be a little bit too far back. It depends. The pressure's on the 713 pit crew. They need to deliver. They need to deliver a sharp one here. It's not for a race win, but it very well could be for a bronze win. It very well could be for a championship lead. Actually, probably will be the championship lead regardless. Robert Volt has retired after taking a very big hit in side-by-side action with, I think it was Dyke, through Blanchimont that put him in the wall. So this is probably the biggest pit stop of the day. James Wheel is on the tail of Dick Post. This is probably for an effective third place, as both of them should clear Bex, I think, without any issue. Through the bus stop chicane. Bex is still in the pits. Bex is moving. Bex is moving. How fast was that pit stop? That pit stop had to be blinding. Bex has come out in second place. What the? Marv Bex's pit crew has done an amazing job with a 5-second penalty. Despite a 5-second penalty, Bex has the second fastest pit stop of the day. How? Amazing. Only D. Hines' pit stop was faster. Marv Bex, the 713 pit crew, they need all the credit in the world. This is a phenomenal job by them. I thought he would be battling much further back. I thought Richard Oakes for sure had him. And he comes out of the pits 8 seconds ahead of Oakes. Jesus. Good Lord. An amazing pit stop for Marv Bex. Again, 1 second slower than the fastest pit stop of the day. That's D. Hines. And he had a 5-second penalty. The pit crew did a phenomenal job. Phenomenal work. And that's the kind of little things that could lead to a championship. So let me get it going here. Let me try to figure out where we are championship-wise. Wheels in third. Blake Moore is fourth. Fifth in silver is Ron Morley. Where are you, Ron? There you are. Sixth place is Van de Velde. Sven. Seventh is L. Perry, then Sean Young. L. Perry with the fastest lap. And then Matt Gale. Matt Gale's kind of really fallen out of this whole thing. He went in for an early pit stop, and it did not work out for him. And then in the bronze category, Marv Bex leads the way. What's the fastest lap scenario for them? I'm pretty sure it's probably Marv Bex. No, it's not Bex. Yeah, it's gonna be Bex. So it looks like Bex is gonna get a clean sweep. Second place belongs to Dick Post. Third place to Thomas Wong. Fourth place to Adrian Marood. Phenomenal day for him. Doing the job. Brian Mongron is fifth. Then, really, there's a big drop down to Hobart Rallywell in sixth place. Seventh will be Isaac Jordan, as it stands. Eighth, Stancer. Ninth, Slater. I do actually have 4 monitors. I have 5 monitors loaded up. Monitors I have. And then in the iron category, D. Hines leads the way. Followed by Pat Fortune. Followed by Lucio Condi. Good to see Condi on the podium again. Followed by Bozer. Followed by Jas van de Velde and Cunningham O'Lear. Then it's going to be Konami Dyke. Although I think he's going to be facing some penalties. Nishan Jalan. And Nathan B. and Steepo. Be good to see Steepo finally get a point. He's been out there trying his best. So here's hoping. All right. Kyalami Dyke and Roy Cunningham O'Lear are going at it. This is for 6th place in the class. 20th place overall. Technically, I have 6 monitors, so you count the laptop the stream's up on. Yellow flag out for Bowser. Okay. Looks like he just got a bit wide coming out of Pouillon. And Cunningham O'Lear making a mistake. That will let Kyalami Dyke through. Brian Mongrand on the tail of Adrian Marood. This is for 4th place in bronze. Heading down the Campbell Straight. In the background, that is Ron Morley. In the Pastel Punisher. Pretty good day, honestly, for bronze. 5 of their drivers are in the top 10. Now, granted, outside of those 5 drivers, everybody else is having a terrible day in the entire category. But, they are doing the job. And we got a big battle going on in the iron category. Nathan B. has caught up to the back of Jalon, who's caught up to the back of Roy Cunningham O'Lear, who's still on the back of Kyalami Dyke. So, 5-way fight. Oh, Dyke very slow into La Source. Cunningham O'Lear going for the move. Get the helicam out here as we head down to Eau Rouge. It's Dyke and Jalon in the 2 McLarens. O'Lear in the BMW. And the Porsche of Nathan B. Down the Campbell Straight. Into Lake Home. Side by side between Jalon and Cunningham O'Lear. O'Lear's going to lose out here, I think. He's got the inside line here, though. That'll probably save him. This is going to allow Dyke to get away a little bit. Cunningham O'Lear hangs on for the time being. Or Aller? Could be Aller. Probably Aller. He's American. But I'm going to go with O'Lear until I am corrected. We also have Blake Moore and Dick Post in close proximity. Jalon has gone off a little bit. Nathan B getting a spot as a result. Extra 2 points for him at the moment. It's a big deal. Blake Moore on the tail of Dick Post. Battle for 5th. No class implications, admittedly. Brian Mongrand is off. Losing out to Ron Morley, L. Perry, and Sven van de Velde. Before successfully rejoining. And Sean Young. All of those were silvers, so he retains his 5th place in class. James Wheel and Richard Oakes battling it out. Oakes once again having his typical wet weather performance of the season. I swear I've never seen Richard Oakes not finish on the podium in a wet weather race. That Russ Bucket is trying to tell you something. I've been to the wet. I chose this life. You did not. Blake Moore still on the tail of Dick Post. Trying to pick up a spot here. Side by side into the bus stop. Inside line for Blake Moore. And I'm going to say Dick Post kind of gave up on that one a little bit. He knows that this is not really his fight. He's here to take second place in bronze. He doesn't really care about where he is in relation to the silvers. And that's kind of it. Roy Cunningham O'Lear under pressure again from Jalan. Switchback will go to Jalan. He is through. Jalan up into 8th place. Cunningham O'Lear falling backwards. Matt Gale up on Bo Zur. Gale carrying a little bit of damage. Not really racing for a ton. Gale's kind of off in his own world as far as the silvers are concerned. The next one on his list would be Sean Young, his cyber racing teammate who's up in 12th place. And he's back in 18th. But hey, he still wants to have excitement. He still wants to have fun. Still wants to get out there and dice it up. No real good battles going on right now. We got a little simmering. Got this one. We got Wheel versus Oaks. We got Post versus Moore. We got Jos van de Velde just a little bit behind this. So we got some simmers. Oh, hang on. Wheel has gotten right up on Richard Oaks. So I think Oaks probably made a mistake. Wheel has gone from 9/10 back to 4/10 back. In only a couple of seconds, so I would suggest we've seen a mistake here from the Rust Bucket. This is an important battle for Wheel. He still harbors some championship aspirations against Tristan Akaloan. Right now, those aspirations are in bad shape. Akaloan on 72 as it stands. Wheel on 59. So it'd be a 13-point gap as he gets side by side coming out of the bus stop. Can he make the move into La Source? He'll have to go around the outside of the Rust Bucket. Oaks defense. Inside line. Ron Morley overtaking... drive-through penalty for Deshaun Jalant. That's a huge blow. And Jos van de Velde overtaking Bo Zur. That's a big deal. Bo is a championship contender. And that was for 4th place in class. That's a big deal. Jos van de Velde doing the stunt possums a favor. With some late heroics here. Did Marood lose out anything in the bronze race? The question would be, where is he in relation to Wong? Yeah, he's still 4th in the category. So he lost out to some silver drivers. That will not be impactful in the championship. Matt Gale defending against Jos van de Velde. Jos feels like a guy who will go for it against the silver. He doesn't really care about the class implications. He just wants a good spat. Also got pressure from El Perry on Adrian Marood. Keeping an eye on both those battles. This one has a little bit more impact as far as the championship is concerned. It's for 17th on the day, but it's also got 4th place on the line here for the the iron category. Oh boy. Yas. Yas is bad, Yas. I'm surprised he held that. Going for the outside. Bozer's got a front row seat. Matt Gale gives him the hip check. I'd say that was earned, to be honest. Not gonna lie, that was a little earned. Bozer picks up the place. Yas is gonna lose out also to Konami Dyke and Nathan B. I'm not, to be clear here, I'm not defending the fact that Matt Gale gave him that hip check. Do not call me as a witness to defend you in front of the jury of your peers that is the stewarding department. I'm just saying, Yas, when you were on the grass, that was, that battle was over. Deshaun Jalon picking up a spot, but he's got a drive-through penalty, so that's, What? James Wheel's in the pits! James Wheel is in the pit lane! A championship... Show me the front. Show me the front of the car. Show me the car. What's going on here? The car looks fine. I don't see a penalty. Why is Wheel in the pit lane? Oh no, that's horrible. Oh, Perry and Morley battling for position. Maroon's in the mix as well. So, that's another spot for Perry picked up. It's actually going to be 12th for him now. Or 4th, I should say. Blake Moore moves up onto the podium. Morley to 5th. Sven and Sean Young will also pick up a spot. And then Wheel drops all the way back down to 8th. Ow. That is not good. So I'm interested where Jalon comes out. On the tail of Morley. It's about the only fight going on right now. Where is Jalon going to come out? It's going to be behind Stipo. Might snag a point. The question is going to be, nah, he's got a lap on Zimmerman, so he'll get a point still. That's gotta suck. Final time through this section for Tristan Akaloan. Looking like a victory. A drive-through penalty for L. Perry basically ended the day for him. Akaloan took over after that. But he's run a very clean race. I can't take anything away from the double 3 driver. Marv Beck's an impressive second. Richard Oakes on the podium in the rust bucket. Blake Moore has caught up to him though. He would like a shot. He would like a shot. We'll see if he gets it. Dick Post in 5th. Wong in 6th. Then it's L. Perry, Ron Morley, Adrian Marood, Sven Van de Velde, your top 10. D. Hines and Pat Fortune, Lucio Condi are the iron podium. Phenomenal day of racing here in the wet. Nathan B. and Matt Gale battling. Isaac Jordan is off somewhere. Rejoins ahead of Chris Stancer. Second last time over the start-finish straight for these two. 1 lap left for Nathan B. to put the cooker on. Stipo losing a spot to Hobart Rallywell. He doesn't care. I imagine. He's got iron points today. JJ Zimmerman having a moment. Blake Moore continue to put the pressure on. Checkered flag is out for Akaloan. Second place will belong to Marv Bex. He owes his pit crew big time today. But who will join them on the podium? Will it be the Rust Bucket? What? Drive-through penalty for Blake Moore right at the end of the race. No! No! Oaks will take it. I don't even know how this is going to work out for Blake Moore. He's been shown the checkered flag in the pit lane and has an 80-second time penalty. Oh, no. Thomas Wong across the line in 6th place. El Perry should have had a win today, probably. 7th. Ron Morley, 8th. Adrian Marood, Sven van de Velde, and Sean Young taking the checkered. That's down to 11th place. Brian Mongron taking 12th. D. Hines has got the bus stop chicane to give up a spot to championship contender and teammate Pat Fortune. We'll see if he does it. No, he's not. He's going to take the win today. Team orders? What are those? Pat Fortune comes across the line in second. He will take the championship lead. Lucio Condi on the iron podium. James Wheel. I really hope we get an interview with James Wheel because he pitted very, very late, and I need to know the story of that. I assume the answer is he did not have enough fuel. That's the only thing I can think of. But, sorry, just checking my phone because it's vibrating at me. Wheel will come across the line in 15th. He could have had a podium today. Bozer, 16th. Kanami Dyke will probably be dragged in front of the stewards, but I'm sure he's happy with the 17th place today. Nathan B. coming across the line. Jos van de Velde. What happened to Matt Gale? He fell behind both Nathan B. and Jos at the end, and then Roy Cunningham O'Lear will come across. So my question is, where does Blake Moore finish? The answer is in front of James Wheels. That's a position given to Sean Young. That's a position given to El Perry. That's a position given to Ron Morley. That's a position given to Sven van de Velde.
Green light, go, go, go.
And I think those are the only changes I need to make. So I think I have a rough idea of the championship. We will throw up a Mustang, which seems to be like the thing we are basically doing every single time in the post-race era here. But we're going to do it again. What Mustang have I not used? I don't think I've used the Dolomite one, so let's throw that up on the showroom. Okay, let's see here. Wait. Dear Discord, I require you to show up on my screen right now. Thank you. For some reason, it has moved to another screen, and that was what was messing me up. Alrighty, we have a bunch of guys here. Blake Moore's got his hand up first, so Blake, you are the first one up. Blake Moore, podium for you, ruined at the end. What happened?
So I've never driven the race like that on my life, but what happened there, the reason why I went into the pits at the end, I cut a rouge. That was my third strike. But then, out of poo on, I slightly went over the green turf. Ever so slightly. I even lifted, but it was not enough. I got docked a drive-through penalty, which eventually I thought, okay, I can drive through the pit lane. That's me done. 80-second time penalty.
Yeah. I was gonna say you cannot do that on the last lap because the start finish line is midway point of the pit lane, and you cannot actually do a drive through on the last lap.
Yeah.
You're taking the 80-second penalty anyways. You might as well just stay out there.
Yeah, I thought I thought I can do that, but I guess I definitely didn't read the Spa terms and conditions before I went in the pit line. So
I will say
recognize that.
I was actually surprised it was only an 80-second penalty though. I'm used to 200-second penalties for Spa Francorchamps missed drive-throughs. So in that regard, you got lucky.
Yeah, I got very lucky there, but I will say to the people who actually okay. The people who I battled with today, Thomas Wong, thanks. That was a really decent battle. Almost we both went off, I believe, on one of the laps, I believe. That was a really fun battle, I will say. But I would say it's racing. I make mistakes like that sometimes, and I get paid a price when I get a penalty. So I would say a really good day in the office, but something to work on going into next race. Just stay out of the track, which is not, in the lines.
You're lucky. My co-commentator Byron was away today because he would have some words for you, and they would sound a little something like this, but only in a deeper baritone that only a 300+ pound man is capable of delivering. Stop breaking the law.
Stop. Yeah, exactly. But that's really much about it. I did what I can. Unfortunately, I had to take the penalty. That's really it. And I'm gonna let who's gonna come up next to take over my speaking role. And
Thomas next.
Thanks for having me on here, by the way, guys. See ya.
No problem. Thomas Wong, you are next up. Hop on up here.
Hello.
Thomas, a solid day from what we saw from you today.
Yeah, I have no hopes for today, but it turns out a great race for me.
I mean, you're second in the championship. Albeit, I do think that the bronze crew is now officially hopeless. Marv Bex has stolen your souls.
Yeah. I do remember the moment that we both went sideways. That was really funny. And I was following Adrian, like 1.5 at the first half, and just go through in the pit lane. So it turns out a great strategy, I guess. And I just keep telling myself nothing stupid. So
I mean, at Spa Francorchamps on the wet, just going with the nothing stupid strategy, it does definitely work pretty well.
It did work very well. And that's it for me today.
Well, back-to-back podiums for you, and making a case for at least best of the rest, or when Bex gets promoted, steal the championship.
Yeah. All right, thank you, and I'll pass it to the next guy.
All right, I didn't see which stunt possum got their hand up first, so we'll go with today's winner, D. Hines. Bring him up, and then we'll finish off with the Iron Championship leader, Pat Fortune D. Victory today, triumph in the Lamborghini in the wet here at Spa Francorchamps. Tell us about the race and why you didn't give up the victory to your championship contending teammate.
Oh, you can get them up at the same time if you want. Invite them up. We can be on together if you want.
Okay. If you guys want to share the spotlight, we can do that.
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right, we got Pat Fortune up here now too. So Pat's the championship leader for Iron. D's today's winner. Gentlemen, tell us about the race.
Very, very slippery.
Yeah, I only noticed it was wet halfway through.
I did. I think I knocked Conde off. I don't know if we made contact or not, but I came up on his inside on one of the big turns at the back end. But I just kept slipping towards the line, and I think he went off. I'm not sure. So I'm really sorry if I did. I'm going to try and catch that in the replay, but because he was my main contender all the way through. So apologies if I knocked him out. I'm not sure. I'll check back.
Don't know if I saw that one, but to be honest, there were a bunch of people who did the side-by-side through Blanchiment, and often did not end well. So there is a solid possibility.
But I got very lucky. There's a lot of incidents in front of me, and I managed to get around them, and that's a lot to do with how you kind of get to the front on a wet day. But being from the west of Ireland, myself and Pat are both used to driving in the rain. Isn't that right?
That's all we have here. It's all we have.
Never stopped raining here.
No. But
So,
no, it was a great race. I enjoyed it. I do like the track. Don't like it so much when it's wet, but still the Lambos seem to work pretty well, which is surprising. Like normally when you think of Lamborghinis wet and Spa, you just think of fireballs and stuff. But no, the car is stable with a correct setup. And congrats to D. Yeah, I got hit on the first corner of going up on Rouge, and I got put to the back, so I had to kind of fight my way back through, which was okay because there was a lot of mayhem going on around me, so I was just kind of keeping out of trouble and picking them off while I could. But yeah, congrats to D again. Yeah, we it'll be interesting now. It'll be interesting to see how the standings work out now after this and where we both are. But
my quick maths. And again,
I love your quick maths. I love your quick maths.
I don't. They're in the ballpark, but I don't know how much I trust them. I've got Pat on 66, Bozer on 61, and D on 42. That's what I have.
Ooh, nice.
Cool.
And there's not really a fourth person to consider as far as the championship is concerned.
Excellent. Yeah,
a couple of people have definitely got the pace to be in the mix, but they've had a result or two results or three results of just not quite getting the job done.
Yeah, I missed the first race. So can't miss anymore.
Yeah, you've no safety net, man.
With drop scores taken into account, because Pat and Bo have drop scores and D does not. The standings do not change, however, the closest of them does. It would be Pat on 52, Bo on 49, and D on 42.
Ooh,
okay,
spicy.
Anyway, we'll celebrate the Dunpotham 1-2 today and take it one race at a time. See how we go.
Yeah,
indeed. It's a couple of good days in a row for you boys. Idris picking up the podium at Suzuka, Pat with the win at Suzuka, and now D with the win here today. And Pat with the podium.
Yeah.
First ERA win.
Yes, go D. Go spray some champagne around your kitchen or something.
Yeah, I have a bottle of orange squash here. That'll have to do.
That'll do. Anyway, I'm going to head off. But yeah, thanks, Mike. And
Me too.
See you next time.
Yeah, great work with the commentary as always. Can't wait.
I don't know about that today. There was a lot of coughing and dying.
That's what Byron should have been there, like to take up the slack, but he wasn't.
Nah, he's got family things to do today, so
no worries, man. That'll do. I look forward to reviewing it. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, gentlemen.
Cheers. Have a good one.
All right. We'll give it like a minute or two here in case anyone else wants to pop up. Tristan usually likes to pop up for a post-race interview. I'll give you guys the full rundown of the championship. Again, quick maths, don't trust them. I've got Akaloan on 72 ahead of James Wheel on 49. 42 for L. Perry, 40 for Richard Oakes, and 37 for Sean Young. That's the silver standings. And then in the bronze category, Marv Bex is on 57. Thomas Wong is on 42. Dick Post is on 40. Robert Volt on 38. And 34 for Isaac Jordan. That's the top five. Now, this one I'll go a little bit further down because there's some interest here. There's not the break that there is after the top five for the bronze crew, or for the bronze crew. David Slater on 28, 26 for Adrian Marood, and 20 for Brian Malgron. I think they are worth mentioning. And then in the Iron Championship, we brought it down to 66 for Pat Fortune, leading the way from Bo Zur on 61. 42 for D. Hines. Nishan Jalan, who has shown good pace, but realistically has only brought home the one quality result. He's on 29. Nathan B. is on 28. 24 for Lucio Condi. And then 20 for Alfie Solomons. 18 for Jos van de Velde. 16 for Lou Wes. And then that kind of drops off after that to people who either have not been in attendance for a number of the races, or guys who are just kind of scrapping it out for relatively low-end points this season. So hopefully we'll see good action next time out. Let me just check and see if I can tell you what race track we're going to. Night race at Laguna Seca. That's going to be juicy. Laguna Seca at the best of times, specifically the I'm blanking on the name of it. It's the Laguna Seca Kink and then the famous chicane that I'm blanking on right this second. But that's going to be a hell of a thing when we get there at night. That's going to be hectic. That's going to be a rough time. Then we have a cold race at Donington Park, and we finish things off at Mount Panorama. Now, I will say, starting at Donington Park, I may not be able to do live commentary. The reason I'm saying this is because I will be working Sundays, unfortunately. So we may not have commentary for Mount Panorama or for Donington Park. So that's the heads up there. I will be giving the admins a heads up and see if anybody wants to volunteer to take that over for 2 rounds. We'll see. Byron probably cannot do it solo. He does not have a set of Corsa Competizione installed on his computer, so and he does not own it. So unless somebody wants to pay for it and help him out with the setup of the race connector and everything, that seems unlikely. Anyways, it'll be. I will be here for Laguna Seca though. So, gentlemen, it was a good race. It was a fun time. Kudos to everybody for getting to the end of it. And we will see you at Laguna Seca next time out. Championship is still going. Well, okay, Thomas, for the record, Byron does not sim race. I tried to get him to do it once. We played a game called Race Room, Racing Experience. We went to Portimao. We took out the canards for it, and he had a absolutely miserable time. He does not actually like doing sim racing. Is something to consider. He is very much my color man, and that is about it. So he may be available if somebody else wants to help him out. But I think, unfortunately, the last 2 rounds will probably be Sans commentary, which is a very, very lame because Donington Park, I'll be honest, I don't hate missing that, but missing Bathurst, that does hurt my soul. I'll see what I can do as far as work is concerned, but that would be the case. Yeah, Byron, as far as racing games is concerned, enjoys making tracks and Trackmania. He doesn't even particularly enjoy playing Trackmania. He just likes being crazy and creative, and his tracks end up being really, really fun. But this is not really his cup of tea. So give him all the thanks in the world for being my wingman for these commentaries if you enjoy his presence, because it's not something he would opt to do normally. Anyways, everybody, I hope you enjoyed. We'll be back next week, and enjoy the Super Bowl if that's your thing over here on this side of the Atlantic. And otherwise, I don't have anything else to say. There we go. Hope you enjoy.